Welcome back. My name is Brandon. Today we're going to be TIG welding some cast aluminum. Stick around. This is what we're working on today. This is part of what's called the box link for the Ford pickup trucks. And the way this works is that this little tie down, basically it's a tie down, and it fits into some pieces that are in the back bed of the truck. Well, you can see what's happened is that these actually broke off, and the reason this broke off is a few weeks ago I had a strap going from side to side in the back of my bed with the load way up front towards the front of the cab of my truck. My toolbox, I had just bought it, threw a bunch of tools in it, it wasn't even strapped down. I had a generator sitting behind that, and there was probably like 2 feet of space between this strap and the generator. I went and took off real hard at an intersection because I had to get going, and everything slid back. It shock loaded the strap, which caused this to snap off, and the entire load in the back of my truck completely dumped into the intersection. It did a lot of damage to my generator, which I've since fixed, and it dumped all my tools out in the roadway. And thankfully there were a couple people there to help put everything back in the truck, because there's no way I could have done that. It wouldn't have been possible. So what we're going to try to do today is weld this back together. Now, I don't know if I'll trust it or not, but I feel like this wouldn't have broken off had this not been shock loaded. I think these are rated for 600 pounds a piece. I'm going to try to TIG weld this back together, and this is cast aluminum. I've only welded cast aluminum a couple times, and as you can see, you can't really get to the back side or this side over here. So this will be even more technical because it's going to have to be tacked on the edges and then ground almost from this side all the way to the back side and then filled up, because there's just no way that you can get in that gap down in there to weld it up. For this repair, I'm using my Art Captain TIG 200P AC/DC. It's a 200 amp machine, and I just upgraded the torch on this, and I'm really excited to try it out, and I'll tell you everything that I'm using here. This is a CK Worldwide. I'll have all the links if this is something that you are looking to do. I went with a 17 style torch, which is good for 150 amps. This is the flex head, and I'm using 3/32 CK laser tungsten. I'm using a number 6 cup, and I'm using just a little under 15 CFH of pure argon. And after closer examination, this is actually just plastic, and that's just to lock this cast bar into the truck, basically so nobody steals them. All more of a reason to knock this out of there. I'll take a quick picture of this just so I don't lose the orientation when it comes time to put it back together. Whenever you have a part, you don't want to do too much grinding away, because you can see how the part fits a certain way. You see how that just like locks in there? If you could feel it, you could feel that it's only going to go back together one way, because this grain structure that's here all meshes together a certain way. If you start grinding too much of this material away, what's going to happen is you're going to lose this part's orientation, and you're going to be fighting to get it back exactly where it was. This is exactly where that part has to be, right there. It doesn't move. It's like it's locked in. So I'm going to clamp this part right there, and then I'm going to come in now, and I want to start with a tack here, and then I want to flip it over and do a tack on the other side, and then I can come through and start basically cleaning all this up and cutting it all the way back. We're going to have to cut it all the way back into here, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to TIG weld down inside this area right here. So we're going to have to accomplish that by basically cutting a slice in this area and then filling that slice in. So I don't know how good this repair is going to be, but you know, we'll give it a try, see how it works. Now we'll remove some of this powder coat on here. Now you can get a better idea, but it's really hard to see that area now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind a V onto this top right in that crack, and that's where I'm going to put my tack inside of here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now watch when I release this, you'll be able to see that it's broken right there. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. This could be a failure, I don't know. But you don't know until you try. And it's always good practice to pick up something that you haven't done for a while. Now for filler wire, I showed you this trick just a little while ago. I just peeled some 45 thousandths 4043 wire off the spool, and you can see how it's, you know, just naturally wants to curl up. And I showed you guys this trick not too long ago, and this is really fun to do, so I'm going to show it to you again. To turn this into TIG wire, and I think the way it does this is it ends up annealing it, doing the process I'm going to show you, and it ends up hardening it and making it work just like TIG wire. So even if you try to like straighten this out and bend it with your hand, it still kind of like springs back in a circle, and you don't really ever kind of get it straight. It's all wavy, right? So just take one end, put it in a vise, and clamp it to hang on to it. And see, it's all just a reel right there. Then take your other side and put it in a drill. And I got about 12 feet of wire sticking out. So just clamp this into your drill. And when you spin this, this wire is going to start getting straight, and then you're going to spin it until it snaps. And you're going to hear it make a real high-pitched ting, usually. And I think that is the wire that's being hardened into being straight. And it just is a rigid piece of wire after that. Check it out. Hear that? Look how straight that wire is now. Just like you pulled it out of a tube. Now I just got it cut up into manageable lengths, and now you just treat this stuff just like you would any other TIG rod. Clean it down with acetone just like you normally would, and go ahead and use it. It's just a super good way to turn 45 thousandths MIG wire into a nice solid TIG wire. I'll show you what I got for settings. I'm on a foot pedal, and I'll show you what the pedal looks like as well. So the top amperage right here, the peak amperage is 140 amps. And 7 seconds of post flow, because we want to keep that tungsten shielded. And let's see, 120 hertz, 30 30% AC balance, so cleaning action, half a second of pre-flow, and then we're right back to the top again. Obviously I'm using a pedal, so I'm ramping all that myself. This machine does AC TIG, DC TIG, and it does stick welding. 2T, 4T, and it has a spot function. It has pulse, and it also has square wave and triangular wave. And that's just a quick look at my pedal setup. I love these CK torches. This isn't a sponsored video. I paid for all this stuff myself with my own money. They're just super nice, and I like how flexible these torch hoses are. I'm going to go in just to see how clean this stuff is. Start out first. There's a lot of garbage coming up, but I think we can get it. Got a little tack right in through there to hold it. Now I'm going to flip it around, do the other side, and then we can come through and grind out this whole center section and fill that back in. By me running over it like that a little bit too, I'm helping bring some of those impurities up to the top. Plus, it's also putting a little bit of heat in this part as well. Now I can work on getting some of this burnt off paint off there. Get that cleaned up so it doesn't contaminate our weld. Right, so there's that. And then we got it tacked over there. Now we got to V this side out and fill all that in. And then we can do the same thing to the other side. I think this is going to work okay. It's not giving me the problems that I was thinking that it probably would. It did have a lot of trash floating to the top, but that seems to be coming out. This part is pretty warm now, so we don't really have to worry about adding a preheat to it. It's plenty hot just as it is. There, and you can see we're all ground back out. You can actually see right back to the back side, we've almost ground completely all the way through this. So yes, this would probably be much cheaper to just buy a whole new piece, but that's not really the point of this. The point of this is to get some practice and some experience. And, you know, if you're not doing it and practicing it, then you're not going to be getting better, right? If somebody brought this to me, I probably wouldn't repair it. I'd tell them just to go spend whatever it costs, $50 or $100, because it's just too much liability in repairing something like this. I'm just doing this for the experience, just to try it and to get better at it. And the great thing about welding, guys, is there's never a short supply of experts to tell you all the things that you're doing wrong. You know, and you could have 50 people say that's a good looking weld, and another 50 will say, geez, that's the worst weld I've ever seen. Don't take it to heart. Do your own thing and stay positive. Good. Now we just got to continue to build this up and fill it in. It's going good, just going slow. Taking a lot of filler. Build up this side right now. You can hear me probably back the amps off because it's starting to get really hot. This small filler, I'm really having to feed it in fast. And that's it, guys. All built up. Got to clean it up with a wire brush, and then we'll shape it a little bit. You can see I put a little piece of aluminum here to keep that from crushing down. So let me wire brush it real quick, then we'll get it shaped up, and we'll go from there. But it doesn't look too great because you can see all that peppery coming up to the top. That's all the trash. But let me brush it, and then you can see what it looks just naturally brushed. There, now you can get a better idea. And I overfilled it. Just went out beyond everywhere just because I want to grind it back and I don't want any potholes in it. And here it is, all assembled, painted, and put back together, and you really can't even tell that it was broken. And the way these go on is you just take that little keyway section right there, line it up into that, and just slide up on it, and then turn this key right here to lock it in. That way it can't be stolen out of the truck. Yeah. You can see it also holds this cargo box right here, and a lot of you guys ask where I got this. I got it right on Amazon, and I'll have a link. I love this thing, especially you know, if you use your pickup like a pickup and you want to haul groceries and stuff. You know, you just throw it in the back, and you don't have to worry about it going all the way to the front of the bed. But when that hook broke, it also broke off that tie point over here. So now I can secure this back in the bed also. And you can see now I've got all my stuff strapped in. I don't take any chances. I got the toolbox strapped into those factory hooks. Then I got the generator connected into another set of hooks. So if one setup fails, there's still another setup in place. This was my first time in a long time welding cast aluminum. It's usually problematic, but that machine did a really good job. I'm real happy with it. And that's all there is to it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're wondering about any of the tools that you see me using, I'll have links down below. New videos every Friday, so until next week, I will see you then. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.